Hello, babies. I just realized A, I want to set you up higher, so I need another book to set you on. And B, I don't have my pens. So I'm going to go grab those. Every time I do this. Nope. Oh, good. We're not quite there yet. And I do apologize. I always say, I'm going to start it and we're just going to hop right in. And then I always try and give you guys a couple of minutes to hop on. I'm going to go grab my pens. Be right back. Can't work without my pens. That's the excuse I tell myself anyway. Okay, I'm going to be right back, guys. Okay. I also need my water. Y'all grab your water. Grab your water. I need more paper. Okay. Let's do this vision board. Is it 10 yet? No. I will wait until 10 because that is what I promised to do. Sorry, I'm looking at my planner or my to-do list from yesterday. All right. Now, I just want to go over real quick. So we have some themes for this year. Oh, I'm going to move this over just a smidget. No. There we go. So we've got some themes for this year, guys. First and foremost, we're not going to do a traditional New Year's resolution, right? I personally gave up New Year's resolutions, and I think you should too. I'm not going to force you to, but the reason why is if you've done New Year's resolutions and they work for you, this doesn't apply to you, right? Just skip this part. But if you have done New Year's resolutions and then the third week of January to the middle of February, you give up, don't do New Year's resolutions, or don't do New Year's resolutions in January. And this is why. One of our main focuses this year in this group is that we are going to really focus on reprogramming our subconscious mind for self-trust and confidence, right? So we're going to reprogram our subconscious mind. There's so many different ways people talk about doing this. To me, I have found the best way, and the way that really sticks is through action. You have to prove to yourself, especially, and this isn't, I guess this is a bash. I really don't care either way. But I think affirmations work great when you don't really understand what it is that you're talking about. But once you have a great understanding, that's to say, if you're very smart, I think reprogramming your subconscious mind becomes a little more difficult, right? So you have to do it through action. It's like good news, bad news. You got to do it through action. So that's one of the things we're really going to focus on is reprogramming that subconscious mind for self-trust, because when we trust ourselves, we're willing to go for things. We don't question ourselves. It's easier for us to make decisions. We'll have more confidence. So self-trust is really going to be the big one. Reprogramming our subconscious mind for self-trust. Self-trust is really going to be a big one this year. So that's why we're not doing New Year's resolutions. We're really, instead of just hopping right in and taking, I think there's like this big energy kind of at the beginning of the year. This is again with self-trust, guys. We think that like, oh my gosh, if I don't hop right into this energy, that I'm going to lose it, right? I'm going to lose this momentum, or this motivation, I should say, that I've got. That's just because you don't trust yourself. It's hard. It's like bad news, but it's the truth, right? Like I don't trust myself to keep this energy going, to keep this motivation for myself. And the truth of it is, if you don't use it, it's not like you lose it. It will just kind of compress and come back. Everything in life kind of ebbs and flows. That's the same thing with your motivation. So I don't know about you, but the holidays are always very stressful. Even with me, I didn't have any family or anything like that, but it was still just a crazy time this year. So instead of just hopping right into some new goals, let's just like take it easy. Let's make sure we do our reflection on 2021 and really set our tone for who it is that we want to be in 2022, creating some excitement. I've done enough coaching programs. I can tell you one thing that I see them do time and time again, and I've done personal, I've done business, I've done freaking everything, guys. But really the big thing is in all of these programs, they make you wait. Like they'll really build anticipation for you. And I want you to take January instead of hopping right in to build anticipation for yourself. So that way, when you do start really like driving those goals home in February, March, April, like you're excited, you have all of that built up, you understand why you're doing it, you really have all of that built for yourself. And you've also taken the entire month to work on your self-trust. You now trust yourself to really go for these goals instead of setting a goal and then never actually going for it, or going for it half-ass. And then as soon as it gets hard, you give up, or whatever it is, right? Okay, so we've got our vision board. Now, we're going to be doing this in multiple parts, and this is literally backed by science. I love anything woo-woo, but I also love me some good science, right? And I think they actually personally very much go hand in hand. So this is all based off of book. You can get the book. We're also going to be doing probably in the Patreon group, a book club. I haven't announced it yet, so I guess this is me officially announcing it, just to see if you guys wanted to do a book club. I think it would be so awesome. But The Source is one of the books that we would be doing, and this is what all of this is based off of. So The Source is by Tara Schwartzen, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. I will make sure that I link all of that information for you guys. She is a neuroscientist. So she knows what the fuck she's talking about when she talks about your brain. So hold on, I got to take some coffee. So we're going to use her methods mixed in with a little bit of the things that I've seen that just really seem to work. So if you're unsure on where to start with a vision board, I know for me, my vision boards they've always been kind of a mess. So what I want you to do is, for the next week, answer all of these questions with images, right? This is a really big one too, because I don't want all of your images to necessarily be the exact representation. I want you to come up with metaphoric images. I also want you to come up with direct images too. So those will be pretty easy. The direct images, like I think we've all got. I mean, I've got on here dream car, dream house, dream vacation. You're probably going to find a lot of great direct images for those, but then things like dream business, ideal lifestyle, ideal diet, physical health, those are really great things to use in a metaphorical sense, right? Okay, so I actually linked all the questions for you guys, and I'm not going to type them out because we have a ton, but I do want to note real quick down here on the bonus, I'm doing so good on time. I really wanted to try and keep it super short for you guys today, and I'm killing it. Okay, in the bonus, so if you're doing this and you're kind of having issues getting started, again, no problemo. Please, please, please take your time. Feel free to, when you're collecting the images, if there's any images that kind of don't sit right or you want to trade out, if you find a better image, feel free to do that. But I really want you to limit yourself for 1 to 3 images. And there's a reason that we're going to do this, and that it gets into the science part of it and then like the neurobiology and your brain part of it. You really don't want to overwhelm your brain, especially, guys. I think this is so genius and it's so right on. In the book, The Source, Tara talks about how placement is really important, and we'll go into that later this month. But if you want more ease in your life, if you feel like your life is overwhelming, don't make your vision board overwhelming with images. Don't make it overly cluttered. Like there's a whole thing too between your brain when you place images that connect with each other versus images that don't touch each other. Your brain connects those differently. So placement is really huge. And that's where I'm like, please limit yourself, because like ideal vacation, I think we could probably all think of like 20 ideal vacations that we want to go on. Are you going to go on all of those in 2022? Somewhat, like I want you to dream big, but also be realistic, like have the balance of the two, right? So really make sure you're limiting yourself. If you're at your 3 images and you find an image that kind of sits better with you, that resonates more answering these questions, swap it out with one of your other images. Not a big deal. It's super easy to do. Find one that doesn't resonate as much. Or what have you. Just make the swaps. So I answer all these questions. If you're having issues, especially today, guys, I just found out it's the new moon, which is funny because I make planners. So I put all of this in the planner and I still forget sometimes. So it's the new moon. Great day for manifesting. First day of the year. I always love how the universe just really, again, like it's woo-woo, but it's like the synchronicity of this group is always just so on par. So if you need help, this is what I want you to do today, especially because the 2nd is the new moon and it is an amazing day for manifesting. I want you to write out, in 2022, I call in, and then just verbally, or I guess in a written way, answer these questions. So you don't have to worry about the pictures, but if you're having issues getting started on the pictures, it doesn't hurt to just go through, like I said, and answer each and every single one of these questions. So I think that is all I have for you guys today. I'm making sure I don't have any questions. Nope. Okay, perfect. So I'll just go through the questions super duper quickly. So if time and money weren't an issue, how would you spend your day? Right? Again, if you write this out, just a quick note, make sure that you write it in present tense. I call in 2021, and then again, write out in present tense. You can also, one of my other favorite manifestation little hacks or tips is you can write out, I am so, sorry, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then again, you can write out, this is my ideal day, right? Dream vacation, again, in 2022, guys, this is a 1-year manifestation board. This is not a 10, 20 year. Like, how many vacations realistically do you want to go on? And this is the one thing, again, we're building self-trust. We're reprogramming our mind to trust ourselves. When you put it on the vision board, check in with yourself and call your own bullshit. Like, this has been so big for me, kind of ending 2021 and going into 2022. If you have 15 vacations on there and you're like, going on vacations are exhausting. I don't know about you, but like, yes, it's so fun. But then like you have to come home and there's like a whole decompression time and it can be tiring, right? Be real with yourself. Are you really going to go on a vacation every single month? And if you are, that's awesome. But like, know and gear up for everything else that's going to come along with that. Like, that's going to be tiring. That's going to be a little bit time consuming. You're going to have to commit certain things to that, right? Totally fine, totally doable. And again, as you do this too, I think there's going to be certain things that really stick out. And again, we'll talk about that when we do placement. If you're finding these images visually, or I'm so sorry, not visually, images visually. If you're finding these images on the internet, please make sure that you can resize them, because again, sizing will come into play. If there's something that's really important to you, obviously we want to make it bigger. We want to place it in the middle. Again, I'll go into all of the details. I'm like really getting into all of our fun details that we're going to get into later. So again, ideal home. Oh wait, I'm so sorry. So question number 2, we've got ideal vacation. We talked about that. Be super realistic. Dream home. Again, and this could be more than one, guys. Like, it's like, if you have a home and maybe you want a vacation home or you, what have you, or maybe you just want to make updates to your current home. It doesn't have to be like that you're going to move. It could be that I want to just have updates of my current home. Then you can almost make like a little visual board of what you want your home to look like. Dream car. Again, same thing. It's kind of like the dream home. If you want, you can just do upgrades to what you currently have, or maybe you already have your dream car and you don't even need to put that on your vision board. That's totally fine too. Again, we're doing this. Feel free to omit some of these. Try and gather images if you can, but if it just doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. Ideal wardrobe. Again, keep your images limited to this. Find like an overall scape. Same thing with like your home. Find an overall scape, the necessary, like just like individual pieces. Ideal business or career. This is a great one to do in a metaphorical, right? Like, I know I have an image on my vision board for my business that is a big waterfall coming through down into like a forest, because I want my business to be like water. I want it to be powerful. I want it to be impactful. I want it to be humble in the sense that it's beneath everything, but giving life to everything around it. So for me, it's like this great representation of my business in a metaphorical sense, right? I know one of the other things I put on my vision board this year, I was moving. So I put an air balloon because it just kind of gave me this sense of freedom. That also had to do with my business too, because I was leaving my job. I was going into business full time with myself. So again, metaphorical images, and you don't have to use those. Obviously, that's just to give you an idea. Lifestyle goals. This, again, is a great one to answer with words first if you're not quite sure. So answer in 2020, like call in, or I'm so happy and grateful now that, and answer that one. Meals and diet. I put that one in there because the more I talk with you guys, the more I realize food is so important, and people are having so much trouble figuring out like how to feed themselves, how to do it consistently, how to be healthy. So meals and diets, I want you to, again, come up with some visuals, and I actually have some amazing things coming out for you guys on like planning out food and all of that. So be on the lookout for that because, oh my gosh, it has genuinely changed my life. Ideal physical health. This is one I think we can all put like this super hot chick or like the buff guy or whatever it is that like, whatever it is that you put on the vision board. Do that. That's totally fine. Have your visual of like what you want to kind of look like. Again, be realistic, right? Like if it's going to be a bunch of surgery and you're fine with that, like that's totally fine. Put it up there. But also to please, as you're being realistic with your actual one, come up with one that's metaphorical too, right? Like how do you want to physically feel in a metaphorical image? Same thing with your mental health. I think that one is probably going to be hard to do actual images. So metaphorical is probably going to be all the way on those. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, take some time. Take some time to gather these images. This is going to be the board for our year. So yeah, sure, you can rush it, but why? Why rush it and just, a month later be changing it when you can spend this time, really narrow it out, figure out what images really resonate with you, what really you want this year to be like, what you want to manifest and call in for yourself. And then, we'll figure out placement. We'll figure out, oh, sorry, I'm getting messages. We'll figure out the placement. We'll figure out any colors or anything like that we want to throw in there. The other thing I was going to say too, and I forgot to mention this until now, words. Now you can come up with a word or phrase for each of these, but on your actual vision board, you only get one. You get one word or one phrase, that's it. And you don't get one and one. You get one or the other, and that is it. Besides putting like 2022 at the top of it, you can put that at the top. That does not count. But as an overall for the vision board, you only get the one. And that is so big when it comes to the actual neuroscience of your brain. And again, we'll get into all of that. I will make sure that I link Tara's book because it is so incredible. Like I said, she is a neuroscientist. She literally, I think she worked in a hospital and she did something with the brain. I don't think she was a surgeon, but anyway, she is absolutely brilliant. So it's not like I'm not just coming up with this information. This is like literally backed by science. So it is pretty amazing. That is all I have for you guys. I'm so amazed that I kept it under 20 minutes today. I will hang out for just a moment to make sure anybody has questions, and I'm going to drink my coffee. Oh, one other thing, guys. I want to go over, since I brought all this in here, I brought all my papers in here like I was going to write out because we were doing an activity, and then I realized we're not doing that. Not today. We'll have our craft hour later. That's what I always feel like we do when we do our activities together. It's like craft time. Okay. I'm sorry. I am lame but myself. I've got my workbook with me too. I'm actually almost done with it, and I've got to go through and make a few edits and then reorder it because I'm going to just do it again. Okay, so for the group, I wanted to tell you guys, right? This is what we got going on this month, unless, here's the thing. Like I said, I like the woo-woo stuff. So if I really feel an urge from like God or source or the universe or whatever it is, like Allah, I don't care, whatever it is that you call it, I will change this, right? I want this to be the whole reason we do it live, and the whole reason I do it like kind of week by week is so that we can be as present and I can be as reactive. If there's like something that I'm getting from you guys, we can kind of change course if we need to. So if we don't have to change course, and again, I like meditated, so I'm really hoping I got it right, or nothing changes, you know how it goes. So today we're going over vision board. This is part 1. Next week, we're going to meet up and we're going to do dream mapping together. And I'm so excited. I will give you the activity for that later this week. The week after that, we're going to do fear setting. Again, we have not placed our images on our vision board yet. And there's a reason, because dream mapping and fear setting is really going to help like iron out those last details. If you want to swap any images out, anything like that, you can do all of that. And then, so the 9th, we'll do dream mapping. The 16th, we do fear setting. The 23rd, we're going to finish out our vision board, and I will give you all of the prompts for that. And then we're going to go over our monthly review, which is the 31st. I will also go over, because I've had a couple of people message me about the planner. So we'll get all of that set up too. We'll like do the monthly review, and then we'll get the next month planner set up. So look at that. See, I even worked it all in. So that is what we've got going on for the month. I'm going to stop blabbing now. You have an amazing day. Oh, hold on. What have you manifested and how? Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I learned about manifestation in 2018. And like within 4 months, about 4 months actually, I quit my job. I was traveling full time with my husband in an RV, in a travel trailer, I should say, with our 4 pets. That was our dream. I had a business with him. He had a business, and then I had my blog that I was doing. That was super amazing. I manifested all of that. And then I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. And then I realized, that's not actually what I wanted. And this is how freaking powerful manifestation is. Does not matter. Like, I'm like, it is like gravity. If you manifest, doesn't matter if that's what you really want or that's what you really need or what have you. Like, sometimes I think people are like, the universe gives you what you need and not what you want. Bullshit. It will give you what you want. It is not always what you need. And then you have to learn that lesson the hard way. So I got my manifestation literally in 4 months, was super unhappy, like literally one of the most unhappiest times of my life. I know this is supposed to be inspirational, but I'm just going to like kick it and be honest with you. And then I was like, my husband and I were headed back when we were traveling, we were headed back to Texas, and we wound up losing all of our belongings, which was actually like the best thing ever. When I say like we lost everything because we got in an accident and that our travel trailer was our home. And so it wrapped around a light pole. We had literally 2 milk cartons full of clothes and like carried our animals. It was such a shit show. We finally made it back to Texas. And then I like went back into the job that I was working before, which was like honest to goodness. And this is like, when I say I'm like, it's the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because it was like part of what I did was fear setting, and that's what we're going to do later this month. And one of my biggest fears was like, this is going to go horrible and I'm going to have to go back to my job, and I'm going to be like so embarrassed that I had to go back to my job that I quit and was like, fuck you guys, basically, which I didn't, because that's why they took me back. But so it was like my worst fear realized. And then I realized like none of it killed me. Like I was still alive. I was still here. I was doing it. And it just made me feel like so invincible. So then I started another business, kind of realized that I needed to take some time off from just like doing business after business after business, especially like that was a pretty traumatic event, to be honest with you, like losing all my belongings. So then I started working on myself. And this is really where it got so crazy. And this is where I'm like, yes, like it all goes together so importantly, guys, because you have to have the mindset, right? If you don't have the mindset, you can still manifest. And I think that's like a big misunderstanding. I've met plenty of millionaires that have a lack mindset. I know plenty of people in relationships who like don't feel worthy of love. Like, you don't have to have the mindset to necessarily have the result, but if you don't have the mindset, the results are just bullshit. Like, it just, you feel like you're a duck above water. You're just like trying to stay above. Right. Okay. So after I kind of like stopped and started working on myself, I had made this planner for myself during all of this. And this is where it all kind of kicks off. So I made this planner for myself. I remember actually showing my therapist, and she was like, this is amazing. Like other people could really benefit from this. At the time I was like, whatever, I was doing my job. I was just kind of, again, trying to focus on myself. And then I started posting like the activities that have helped change my life and helped me like honestly get my first big manifestation, which was for me, like the travel trailer and everything, even though it turned out not to be what I wanted. Oh, I just popped my neck and it felt so good. So then I literally made a silent pact with the universe. And I was like, okay, if the planner is it, then the planner is it, then the planner is it. I have always been kind of a business person. I love marketing. So like, let me take a bet on myself, because I've never, like, even when I did my business, I never felt like I fully bet on myself, right? So he's like, let me bet on myself. Let me just go ahead and do this. And it was probably like a week or two. I remember actually looking at my husband because I was posting on TikTok. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. And I would just kind of like jokingly, but like also manifestingly be like, my TikTok is blowing up. Oh my God, my TikTok is blowing up. Oh my God, my TikTok is blowing up. And like, as I would say it, like, again, there was the evidence, because it was like I was getting more traction on it and more traction on it. And then I literally I will not forget the day. I remember the day before I worked out. I did a few things. Again, I was like, really like, let me focus on myself. I just reiterated my pact with the universe. I fell asleep. I woke up. I had literally, this is the first time that I know for a fact that I quantum leaped. And I had quantum leaped, and I had like 10,000 followers. No. I had like 5,000 followers overnight. But then by the end of the day, I had like over 30,000 followers on TikTok. And I just remember being like, oh my God, like, okay, this is it. And it really, again, gave me like the motivation. And so that was May. So 3 months after that, I quit my job again. My husband and I packed up. We moved to Washington. He is now working, which I'm like technically really not supposed to say, but whatever. I don't think it's a huge deal. He's now working with the Gonzaga basketball team. Basketball is his like dream. So that's like so amazing that we got that opportunity, and he kind of manifested that into his life. Because that's like, again, like, you can just see the projection. It's like so crazy as this all starts. And like, there's like the physical part of it, but there's also like the woo-woo part of it, where you're like, I can just feel in my flippin' bones that this is right. But then also I can like see the projection of the like track that I'm on, and like where it's taking me. And like, also I'm going to get the results that I want. Right. So anyway, so he manifested that for himself. We moved. And then I have been doing my business, and it's been, honest to goodness, so incredible, because I was doing one-on-one coaching, and then I really was doing it because I had a mentor who was like, perfect, do this, do this, do this. And it was like spot on information. She's very successful. She knows what she's talking about. So I like very blindly followed her steps. But then I got to a point, and she actually looked at me and she was like, you have to like figure it out for yourself, kind of thing, which is like the scariest thing to hear. But that's exactly what I did. And so I decided I wanted to kind of pivot a little bit. And so one of my biggest goals, and it's like, again, I had to reconnect with the universe, is I want to be able to say I helped 1 million people to really like go for their dream and like inspire them to go for it. So it was like getting back on track for me, where I'm like, oh my God, it is such a big goal. It scares the shit out of me to say, but like, that's the pact that I made with the universe. And now I'm like saying it openly and out loud, where I'm like, I'm going to help a million people with my planner, because every time I use my planner, and I've done coaching, it always, like, I feel like my life is together. I have so much motivation. Even when I don't have motivation, I still go for it. Even on my worst days, I still wake up happy. Which is like, that's the big thing. Like, I'm like, I think we strive for up here. And I'm like, it's not about what's up here. It's about what's down here. Like, it's about, like, when you hit down low, because those ebbs and flows, they're going to come. So stop lying to yourself and saying that they're not. So it's like those downturns, to say that, like, I'm still happy, I'm still excited for my life, like, that is the biggest win ever. I have this goal too. I want to help a million people with my children's book. I am like, oh my gosh, hold on. I'm so about that energy. How do I follow you? Oh, perfect. Okay. I'm following you. No, wait, don't unfollow. Okay. I'm so about that energy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I love you all so very much. All right. I will stay on